Good morning, my dear students. Today, in this video clip, I want to discuss about whatever the formulas come across in chapter number 4 in physics subject in PUC second year or 10 plus 2 class. In 10 plus 2 class, whatever the formulas are there, physics formulas, in fourth chapter, that is moving charges and magnetism. Moving charges and magnetism. Before going to explain these formulas, I want to request to all the students to become a subscriber for our physics channel. Now, how you become a subscriber? You press the subscriber button and that is the press the bell button, then you become a subscriber for our channel. I hope all of you become subscriber for our channel. Yes, you come to the point, that is the moving charges and magnetism. It is a very, very important chapter for the JEE, NEET and CET. Very important concepts are there. There are so many formulas are there here in this chapter. Before going to explain the formulas, you know about the magnetism. Student alli ಒಂದು ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ನಂದು ಏನಂದರೆ, whatever the video clips are there, moving charges and magnetism chapter, first you watch all the video clips. All the video clips. Then only you can understand these formulas. ನಾನು ಹೇಳೋದು ಈ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಕ್ಲಿಪ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೀ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾಸ್ಗಳು ಮಾತ್ರ. ಆ ಉದ್ದೇಶಕ್ಕೆ ಮೊದಲನೇ ನಿಮಗೆ ಏನು ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇದರ ಥಿಯರಿ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು. ಇದರ ಥಿಯರಿ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಷ್ಟ ನನಗೇನಾಗ್ತದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಒಂದು ಐಡಿಯಾ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಥಿಯರಿ ಪಾರ್ಟ್, ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಕ್ಲಿಪ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ದೇರ್, you know about the magnetism. In the case of magnetism, magnetic field is represented by magnetic field lines. In the electrostatics, there is a charge concept. This is said to be magnetic poles, magnetic charge, magnetic field lines, Gauss line magnetism. Whatever you have to study the different things, different points in the electrostatics, same points are arises in the magnetism, but few differences are there in the magnetism and is said to be electrostatics. In the case of electrostatics, there are the two electric charges, positive and negative. Here two magnetic poles, north and south poles. Here north pole having positive magnetic charge and south pole having minus QM magnetic charge. But the one difference is there, electric charges are, they may be isolated charges, but magnetic poles are not a isolated poles. In the case of magnetism, the magnetic poles are always pairs. Pairs is nothing but wherever you take the north pole, immediately there is a south pole. But in the electrostatics, positive charge is separate, you have to take, and negative charge is also, you have to take the separate charges, isolated. But magnetic poles are not isolated poles. This is one difference. And another difference is, in the case of electrostatics, Electric field is represented by electric field lines. They start from the positive charge, end on negative charge. They do not form the closed loops. But in the case of magnetic field is represented by magnetic field lines, but they are away from the north pole toward the south pole. There is no end point, there is no starting point. They form the closed loops. This is second difference. This is second difference. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವಿಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳುವಾಗ ನಾವೇನಂತೀವಿ, ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸಸ್, ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಇದಾವೆ. In the case of electrostatics, the electric field, this is one more difference. Third one is, in the case of electrostatics, according to Gauss law, total electric flux over the closed surface is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times of total charge enclosed by the surface. But in the case of magnetism, total magnetic flux over the closed surface is equal to 0. These are the main three important difference between electrostatics and magnetism. You know about the concept of the electric field and magnetic field, electrostatics and magnetism, then only you got the idea about these formulas. Electric field is vector, magnetic field is also vector. Now electric field at a point due to the different charges is equal to vector sum of the electric field due to the different charges. Similarly, the magnetic field at a point is equal to vector sum of the magnetic field by the different sources. Now this is said to be superposition principle. It is applicable, superposition principle is applicable here in electric field and also in a magnetic field. You know about these points. You watch all the video clips, then only you can understand the formulas here. You don't watch this video clip unnecessary. You know thoroughly in a moving charges and magnetism chapter. You watch all the video clips, then only you come to this formulas video clip. Yes. This now come to another very important point. If the charge is enter in the electric field, definitely it is move in a curved path. It depending upon what kind of charge is enter in the electric field. Depending upon that point. Why? Because it is moving in a curved path. Because the electric force act on that charge, moving charge. ಇಲ್ಲಿ again explain ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಇಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಪ್ಲೇಟ್ ಇದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಪ್ಲೇಟ್ ಇದೆ. ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಇದೆ. ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಜನರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ಬೇಕು, ಅದು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ ಹೀಗೆ ಡಿಫ್ಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಜನರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ಬೇಕು, ಅದು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ ಹೀಗೆ ಡಿಫ್ಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಒಂದು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಡಿಫ್ಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಡಿಫ್ಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. If the rest charge is placed in the electric field, now electric force act on that charge. If the electric charge move in the electric field, then electric force act on that charge. It means electric force act on both rest charge and moving charge in the electric field. Next you come to the point. If the charge is at rest, it associated with only the electric field. It associated with only the electric field. If charge is in the state of motion, it associated with both electric field and magnetic field. It's very important concept. Charge rest ಇತ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದರ ಸುತ್ತ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಇರಲ್ಲ. ಇಫ್ ದ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಈಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೋಷನ್, ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡು ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡು ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಹೌದಾ? ನೋ ದ ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಈಸ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್, there is no force act on the charge. Once again I repeat, rest charge is placed in the magnetic field, there is no force act on the charge particle. If the rest charge is placed in electric field, the electric force act on the charge. Yes. If the charge is in the state of motion, it is moving an electric field or magnetic field, now the force act on that charge. If the moving charge is enter in the electric field, electric force act on the charge. If the charge is enter in the magnetic field, the magnetic force act on the charge. This is very important. It means if the rest charge is placed in the magnetic field, that is a stationary charge, there is no magnetic force act on the charge. If the charge is in the state of motion, when it is enter in the magnetic field, no magnetic force act on the charge. It means moving charge either enter in the electric field or enter in the magnetic field, it experiences the force. This is a very, very important concept. Now you go to the point. The magnetic force act on a moving charge in the magnetic field. That magnitude F is equal to QVB sin theta. QVB sin theta. Here Q is the magnitude of the charge. P is the velocity of the moving charge. P is the magnetic field. Theta is angle between the direction of the velocity and the direction of the magnetic field. The angle between these things theta. Now the force act in this direction. Force. Now this is in the vector form. It is in the vector form. Now there vector F is equal to Q into vector B cross vector B. This is the magnitude, the magnetic force act on the moving charge particle in the vector form. It indicates the direction of the force act on moving charge in the magnetic field is always perpendicular to plane containing the that is magnetic field and velocity vector. Now different cases, theta is equal to 0, F is equal to 0. Or you say theta is equal to 180 degree. Means there is no force act on the moving charge along the direction of the magnetic field or opposite to the direction of the magnetic field. Suppose theta is equal to 90 degree, then maximum force act on the charge, that is QBB. Maximum force act on the charge, that is QBB. Okay. Now see here, if Q is equal to 0, means neutral particle, uncharged particle enter in the magnetic field, there is no force act on the charge. If P is equal to 0, P is equal to 0 means stationary charge particle. At that time, no force act on the charge particle. Suppose positive charge is particle is enter in the magnetic field, force act on the charge particle in this direction. If it is instead of positive, you take the negative charge, force act on the charge is in opposite direction. Simultaneously, the positive charge and negative charge is enter in the magnetic field. The force act on the positive charge particle in one direction, the force act on the negative charge particle in opposite direction. Now this is the magnetic force act of the moving charge particle in the uniform magnetic field. Now what is the magnetic field vector dimension formula? M raised to 1, A raised to minus 2, T raised to minus 2. A raised to M raised to 1, A raised to minus 2, T raised to minus 2. Now what is the Lorentz force? Lorentz force. When the charged particle enter at a point where the electric field and magnetic field are acting at a point and they are perpendicular to each other, the net force act on the charged particle is called Lorentz force. This is called Lorentz force. That Lorentz force, that is F is equal to Q into vector V plus Q into vector V cross vector V. This is the Lorentz force. When it is charged particle enter in the cross fields. Cross fields is nothing but the magnetic field and electric field. They are acting at a point, they are in perpendicular to each other. Now, that is F is equal to Q into bracket vector E plus vector V cross vector V. This is the expression for the Lorentz force. Sometime only that is enter the magnetic field. At that time, Lorentz magnetic force. This is also known as Lorentz magnetic force. This is known as that is Lorentz magnetic force. Now, the magnetic force act on current carrying conductor in the magnetic field. Current carrying conductor in the magnetic field. At that time, the magnetic force act on the current carrying conductor. The formula is F is equal to magnitude BIL sin theta. BIL sin theta. Now, what is the expression for this? In a vector form, you have to take here. In a vector form, vector F is equal to, that is I into bracket vector L cross vector B. The current vector transferred to the length. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾರಿಂಗ್ ಕಂಡಕ್ಟರ್ ನಾವು ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ನಾಗ ತಗೊಂಡಾಗ ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ BIL sin theta. Vector F is equal to I into L cross vector B. If theta is equal to 0 degree or 180 degree, now this is the position. If the current carrying conductor is placed parallel to the magnetic field or anti-parallel to the magnetic field, there is no force act on that current carrying conductor in the magnetic field. If theta is equal to 90 degree, then F is equal to B into I into L. The maximum force act on the current carrying conductor when it is placed perpendicular to the direction of the magnetic field. When a current carrying conductor is placed perpendicular to the magnetic field, at that time the maximum force act on the current carrying conductor, that is BIL. Next point, if a charged particle is entered in the magnetic field, if a charged particle is entered in the magnetic field, for example, this is the magnetic field. Now this is the magnetic field. Now charged particle is entered and it is moving in a circular form. When it is moving in a circular form, it is moving in a circular form. Now the centripetal force act on this one is Fct, and this is the velocity. This is the velocity. This is the velocity. Velocity m is mass of the particle. Centripetal force is the radius of the circular path. At that time, centripetal force is equal to what we say, that is the maximum force. That is mv square divided by r is equal to what here? That is qvb. Here is this expression. R is equal to what here? Expression for this one is mv by qb. mv by qb. Then another one, v is equal to omega. V is equal to omega. When v is equal to omega, I have to take here this omega is equal to v by r. You substitute, this is r. Finally, you wrote the expression omega is equal to what you got here, that is qb upon m. This is 2 pi f is equal to qb upon m. Instead of f, you have to take mu. F is equal to qb upon 2 pi, that is m. This is frequency. This is angular frequency. Now time period. Time period I have to write here. Reciprocal of this one, 2 pi m divided by, that is the qb. What is q? Charge of the charge particle. What is b? The magnetic field. Representation of the magnetic field. And what is m? Mass of the charged particle. What is v? Velocity. Now this is the frequency. Instead of frequency f, you have to write this is nu. f ಬರೆಯಬಹುದು ಮತ್ತು ಏನು ಬರೆಯಬಹುದು, ಅಲ್ಲೇ nu ನು ಬರೆಯಬಹುದು. ನೀವು ಬರೆಯಬಹುದು. This is the bond, that is the radius, frequency, and this is the time period of revolution of the charged particle in the uniform magnetic field. Now charged particle move in a helical motion. Helical motion is nothing but like this in the charged particle. ಸುರುಳಿ ಆಕಾರ. Helical motion is move in a helical motion. In a helical motion, at that time, what do we take here? Pitch. Pitch is equal to velocity. velocity component along in horizontal direction. Velocity of the charged particle at any time is resolved into two components. One is in the horizontal and it is in the normal component. Normal component is help to charged particle move in a circular path, and another velocity along the horizontal that helps to move the charged particle horizontally. ಹೀಗೆ ಹೋಗಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡೋ ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ pp. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು pp. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕಾಂಪೊನೆಂಟ್ is vn is velocity v, normal component. Normal component ಏನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಅದು ಸರ್ಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಪಾತ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ, ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. pp ಏನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಅಲಾಂಗ್ ದ ಹಾರಿಜಾಂಟಲ್ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಇಂಟು ಟೈಮ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್, then p is equal to time period is 2 pi m. Now this is the equation is 2 pi m pp divided by qb is the expression for that is associated with pitch. ನಾವೇನಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಪಿಚ್ ಅಂತ ನಾವಲ್ಲೇ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು. ಎಸ್, ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟರ್. ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟರ್? ದ ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಇಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್. ನೌ the different velocity charged particle is enter in the cross fields. Cross fields is nothing but both electric field and magnetic fields are acting at a point, they are perpendicular to each other in a one particular plane. This is called cross fields. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು cross fields ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. Once the different velocity charged particles enter in the cross fields, and one of the velocity charged particle is without a deflection, it moves straight away. Some other velocity charged particles are deflected. Now, whatever the charged particle is moved in a straight way, in along the straight line, whatever the velocity, that velocity should be equal to ratio of the magnitude of the electric field and magnitude of the magnetic field. That velocity selector V is equal to E divided by V. It is the ratio of the magnitude of the electric field to the magnitude of the magnetic field. Now cyclotron. What is cyclotron? Cyclotron is the device, electric device. Now it is used to accelerate the positively charged particles. Now it is based on which principle? It is based on the principle of when a charged particle move in a cross fields, electric field accelerate the charged particle and magnetic field deflect the charged particle, which it helps to move the charged particle in a circular path. Finally, it is accelerate, and when it is come from exit point, now it is having more velocity, more kinetic energy. At that time, the cyclotron maximum velocity of the charged particle, that is equal to E Q R divided by, that is m, is nothing but P Q P max divided by m. Now this kinetic energy, its kinetic energy, that kinetic energy is equal to this right here. Kinetic energy is equal to 1 by 2 m of V max square. This is equal to V square Q square R square divided by what we take here 2m is the kinetic energy of the exit electron charged particle from the cyclotron. ಕೊನೆಗೆ usually this radius r maximum radius, that is r max, sorry here is r max, small letter r max, it means maximum radius. Maximum radius is equal to radius of the D's which are used in the cyclotron. Now you come to the Biot-Savart law. What is Biot-Savart law? Now Biot-Savart law, it gives the magnitude of the magnetic field produced by the current element. That magnetic field dB is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi IDL sin theta divided by r square. What is mu naught? Mu naught is permeability of this case, and I is the current flow through the conductor, and dl is the small element. Sin theta, theta is the angle between the direction of the current in the current element and line joining the current element to the point. Then R is distance of the point from the distance of the point from the current element. Now in the vector form you have to write here mu naught upon 4 pi, that is I, that is a dl, vector dl cross vector r divided by r cube. This is in the vector form, that is Biot-Savart law. This magnetic field produced on axis at a point on axis of the loop, current carrying coil, that is mu is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi 2 pi I r square divided by r square plus x square raised to 3 by 2. Idu for loop. For coil B is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi 2 pi n I r square divided by r square plus x square raised to 3 by 2. Again, point is for coil is. If the point at the center, it means x is equal to 0. At that time p is equal to, you got here expression here. At that time x is equal to 0. That is mu naught upon 4 pi 2 pi n 2 pi I divided by r. Then b is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi 2 pi n I divided by. This is the expression for the magnetic field produced at the point on axis of the loop, current loop, on axis of the current carrying coil, where n is number of turns in the coil, I is the strength of the coil, r is the radius of the coil or a loop, and x is the distance of the point from center of the loop or a coil on axis of the loop or coil. Now Ampere circuit law, this is a very important point here. Ampere circuit law. The line integral over the magnetic field. The line integral over the magnetic field in a given area, closed space, is equal to mu naught times of the current threaded over that loop or a surface, closed surface. That is line integral over this magnetic field is equal to mu naught times of the current threaded over that closed surface or said to be closed space. Fine. The magnetic field at a point due to the infinitely long straight wire carrying a current, that is V is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi, that is 2I divided by R, or you say to be mu naught I divided by 2 pi R. What is I? Current flow through the straight wire. What is our distance of the point from the current carrying wire? Okay, now this is proportional to I divided by directly proportional to strength of the current and inversely proportional to distance of the point from the current carrying wire. Now magnetic field produced by solenoid. Solenoid means it is a cylindrical coil which having n number of turns, and length of the solenoid is L. This is number of turns per unit length. This is number of turns per unit length. Now magnetic field produced at the well inside the solenoid mu naught Ni. Where I is the current flow through that solenoid, N is the number of turns per unit length, and mu naught is the permeability. Now at the edge of the solenoid, that is half of this value, when that solenoid is filled with the air or free space. Now magnetic field produced by toroid, the same thing B is equal to mu naught Ni, where magnetic field lines are concentric circles in the toroid. Toroid means now the long solenoid is bent into the form of circle, that is called as a toroid. Now force between two parallel conductors carrying a current, that is F is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi 2 I1 into I2 divided by, that is R is said to be D into what is I1 and I2? Strength of the current flow to the two parallel conductors. Two parallel conductors. I1 and I2. Two parallel conductors. What is L? Length of the each conductor. Now force for net length, that is F by L is equal to U naught upon 4 by 2 I1 into I2 divided by. With the help of this formula, we define the standard definition, that is simply ampere. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಆ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನಾವೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಆಂಪಿಯರ್ ಅಂತ ನಾವೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಡಿಫೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ನಾವು ಟಾಕಿಂಗ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಲೂಪ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್. One more point, if the current flow through the two conductors separated by distance is in the same direction, they attract each other. In the opposite direction, they repel each other. Talking on the current loop in the magnetic field, tau is equal to NAIB sin theta. Now NAI, this is said to be ME sin theta. This is Tarki vector form, vector M cross vector B. Now here M is equal to N into A into I. This is said to be magnetic dipole moment. Now this is for coil. This is for coil. For loop N is equal to 1. For loop N is equal to 1. ಅವಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಎ ಐ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಎನ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು 1 ನಾವು ಬರೆದಿರೋದು ಇದು ಕಾಯಿಲ್ ಲೂಪ್ ಬೇಕಿತ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವೇನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಎನ್ ಇಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು 1. ನಾವು ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಟು ಟೇಕ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿ ಕಾಯಿಲ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಕಾಯಿಲ್. ದ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಡೈಪೋಲ್ ಮೂಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಎ ರಿವಾಲ್ವಿಂಗ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್, what is the expression for this one? And gyromagnetic ratio I have to take here. Yes, magnetic dipole moment mu L is equal to, that is in the vector form, minus C divided by 2me into L. This is magnetic dipole moment of a revolving electron or a moving charge particle in a circular path. This is the angular momentum. E is the charge of the electron. Me is the mass of the electron. Now gyromagnetic ratio mu divided by M is equal to minus C divided by 2me. Magnetic dipole moment of a moving charge per unit angular momentum is called gyromagnetic ratio. This is called gyromagnetic ratio. This is the gyromagnetic ratio. This is called gyromagnetic ratio. Then current in the moving coil galvanometer, that is I is equal to C divided by NA NBA into 2. Now these are constants here, K, theta. Now I proportional to K is constant. All this couple per interest, number of turns in the coil, B is the magnetic field and A is the area of the coil. Now theta is the angle of deflection of the coil. Now I is proportional to theta or theta is proportional to current flow through the moving coil galvanometer. Moving coil is directly proportional to angle of deflection of the moving coil in the magnetic field ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಅಲ್ಲಿ or theta is what to say proportional to this current. It means the angle of deflection of the moving coil is directly proportional to strength of the current flow through the moving coil ಅಂತ ನಾವೇನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ತಗೊಳ್ಬೋದು. This is moving coil galvanometer. This moving coil galvanometer concept is very important. Now this one is yes, that is yes, moving coil galvanometer concept is very important because moving coil galvanometer is the basic meter which it is used to measure the strength of the current in the circuit and also direction of the current. Now moving coil galvanometer is converted into ammeter and what we say that is the voltmeter. Moving coil galvanometer is converted into ammeter and voltmeter. Yes, it's the last concept in this chapter. 20th conversion of galvanometer into ammeter. How you convert the galvanometer into ammeter? When a very small resistance is connected in parallel to the given galvanometer, then it is converted into ammeter. Whatever the resistance which is connected parallel to the galvanometer, for the conversion of galvanometer to ammeter, that is called shunt or shunt resistance. That shunt resistance S is equal to IGZ upon I minus IZ. IGZ upon I minus IZ. What is the IZ? Full scale deflection current. I is the current which is measured and G is galvanometer resistance. Now IC is equal to what would take here? S upon G plus S into I. Now I is proportional to IZ or IZ is proportional to I. It means the current which is measured is directly proportional to that the full scale reflection current. Okay. Now for ideal emitter, the resistance of this emitter is equal to 0. 21. Conversion of galvanometer into voltmeter. Conversion of galvanometer into voltmeter. How you convert the galvanometer into voltmeter? When a very high resistance is connected in series to the given galvanometer, then it is converted into voltmeter. That